Good evening. Les Hill from Less is More Coaching. Tonight, we are going to get really exciting. Tonight, we're going to talk about integrity and the workability of integrity. First off, let's take a look at defining integrity and what that might actually look like. There are many, many, many pages that have been written. In fact, Werner Erhard and I think it's Steve Jensen wrote with the Harvard Business Journal a 28-page document on integrity that you can look up on the internet. Highly recommend it. It's an amazing article. Simply said, for today and for tonight, integrity is honoring one's word, not necessarily keeping one's word. And inside of that, the integrity creates workability, like the spokes of a wheel. Now, this is probably going to be a 2 or 3 part series. So tonight, my commitment is to talk for about 5 or 6 minutes on integrity, and we'll move forward from there. Honoring one's word versus keeping one's word. What does that look like? Well, how many of you show up late? How many of you know and that would agree that there's something that happens, has a domino effect through your day or through your morning or through your afternoon, and you end up showing up late? At what point does your integrity go out? Well, I want you to consider that your integrity goes out the moment that the first domino falls. Now, some of you would say, well, when I got into my car, I had plenty of time. I would have been there right on time. And you get in the car and there's a red light and you hit a couple of red lights and the next thing you know, you're late. I want you to consider that you were out of integrity before that. When your day got a little out of whack, one of your appointments ran too long, and you were like, uh-oh, time is it's starting to compress on me. In that moment, if you had picked up the phone and called and said, hey, look, a couple things just went south. I'm going to be running a few minutes late, and I may be able to make it on time. I may not. I want to be in communication and let you know. Boom. In that moment, you have honored your word. So much so that miracles start to happen. Integrity is a funny thing. When we do the work to keep integrity and be in communication, let people know, funny things happen. And I'll be the first one to tell you this because I am not perfect at this game of being on time. I do my best. And for the most part with clients, I'm on time. Then there are those times, when I'm 3, 4, 5 minutes late. And I'll reach out and let them know. And I know that it's from trying to squeeze as much in as I possibly can before, I got time to do one more thing before I leave. I got time to do one more thing. And I squeeze and push it in. And the next thing you know, then I'm running out the door late. Late to the point of I'm not now going to make it on time. That's the point that you communicate. Now, there's a whole condition that's called a place where your word means nothing because you say I'm going to be late. You always, and you are known for it. Now, there's many a time that I was. In fact, I went through this leadership course where we had class every Friday night for 6 months and from 6 to midnight. And I tell you what, for the first 3 months, I think I was late every Friday night. And I justified it. I was in the liquor and wine business. I had to make deliveries on Friday. Bars and restaurants would call, and I'd have to run quick to the warehouse, grab some, and drop some off on the way. And I would sometimes call, sometimes get through, and it was terrible. And I never understood the impact till much later of the difficulty that it took to coach me in that moment. I think the coaches of the program that I was in for that teaching integrity, I think they would flip a coin to see who was going to coach me, because they were so frustrated with the fact that they knew I was going to come in with some kind of attitude. It became really clear to me at one point when I started to realize how many people get impacted by being late. The disruption. For those of you that may be struggling to understand this, think about this in a meeting. Your phone rings. Oops, I forgot to turn it off. The disruption of the phone ringing, that's not where the problem lies and the difficulty. The problem lies in all the conversations and all the people in the room in their head going, why didn't they turn it off? You know how much of a disruption that is? Don't they have common sense? Don't they know this is a meeting? All those internal conversations. That's where the problem lies, because now they're distracted. They're in their head. They're having conversations about that phone. Now, when you show up late, there are people that it impacts. The instructor, it impacts your contribution to the meeting, to the class. And that's somebody would go, oh, well, it's okay if I'm not there. They'll get along without me. In fact, they'll probably be happier without me. Not so much. Not so much. When you show up with integrity and you create a level of workability, every single person plays a part. And that is the nature of integrity. Just like every wheel on a spoke. Now, how does integrity get out of whack and really get off kilter? Let's talk about that bike wheel. On wheels that have spokes, if one spoke breaks, the wheel starts to go out of true, they call it, out of integrity. It no longer rides perfectly round, and it no longer tracks nice and straight. So then it develops a thunk, 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 which then puts undue stress on the other spokes, causing them to break. The domino effect. Therefore, getting communication when one of the spokes breaks, create something. Ask people, what's the impact on you of me being late? Get connected to it. Clean it up. Offer an apology. Start to be aware of the impact of breaking your word. Honoring your word versus keeping it. Knowing when you're going to not be keeping your word, you getting communication, restoring honor to your word. Looking forward to see if there are any questions or comments or sidelines on this topic. I am excited to talk about it tomorrow and keep moving forward and digging into a little integrity. Thank you for joining us tonight, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the next Less is More coaching video. Once again, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. The number's scrolling across the bottom of this video along with my website. If you go to my website, you'll see some testimonials about myself and my coaching. You'll also see some forums. In fact, the integrity document exists in some of the forums in the resources. I'll let you discover where. I appreciate it. And remember, be patient. Be in the world of the people that you're communicating with. That way you can be responsible for the impact of your out integrity. Once again, this is Les Hill with Less is More Coaching. Thank you for joining me. Look forward to the next video. Take care. God bless.